Hey guys, welcome back. And today I thought I'd talk about the Pocket 4 versus the Pocket 3. So I've had the Pocket 3 since it came out in October of, is it 2024? 2023, I can't remember. 2023 maybe. Anyway, since it came out, I've had it since it came out. Before it blew up the world, I've had the Pocket 3. I've taken it to a lot of my trips. I've taken it vlogging and all that. And to be perfectly honest with you, it was my go-to camera until the Nano came out. I've since been using the Nano so much more because of its portability and its form factor. It's much smaller. However, the Nano is not great in low light, and so that's why I still would rely on my Pocket 3 for low light scenarios. Now, they came out with a Pocket 4. And the Pocket 4 is touted to have better image sensor with 14 steps of dynamic range, blah, 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 blah. You guys can check the spec sheets for that. There are a ton of videos already on YouTube comparing the tech specs of both cameras. I am not a tech person, okay? I want to talk about the difference from my point of view as a regular person using this for like kind of vlogging and not really anything that is, I guess, professional work is what I'd say. I want to talk about the changes that have impacted my quality of life when using this, right? I'm not gonna do the comparison of dynamic range of image quality and all that jazz because there are YouTubers out there who are better equipped with knowledge than I have. Okay, but I will say that one of the things that I did really like about this is the change in the joysticks. I've always found the Pocket 3's joystick to be not very responsive, or I don't feel like it does what I want it to do when I press it or when I move it around. Whereas the Pocket 4 is much more tactile. And as you can probably tell, it protrudes a little bit more, so there's a little bit more range of motion when using these joysticks as opposed to the other one. You can also press the joystick, that helps. But like when you're trying to steer the gimbal, I find that I tend to have to press or move the joystick harder than I have to on the Pocket 4. The other thing that I noticed quite a bit is the gap between the actual camera and the gimbal. You see there's a bit more space between this two than this two here. And what that does is that if you have an ND filter on the Pocket 4, you can still close it, where that's not always the case with the Pocket 3. Like, it depends on how flush your ND filter is against the actual lens. Like, my ND filters work fine with that, but I do have filters like the black mist diffusion lens, whatever it is. If I put that on here, I have found that I can close it, but there's difficulty in opening it up again. Like when I flip the screen to turn it on, the gimbal gets stuck when I've got the diffuser on there. But it doesn't happen here because there is more space in between those two. It is slightly taller, but width-wise and depth-wise, it's the same, and that's why my accessories, and I've just recently gotten the Ulanzi magnetic accessory on there. It fits that. In saying that, the case that the Pocket 4 came in, the pouch that it came in, is too short. Like, I can't fit the whole thing in. I have to remove this bit here in order for it to fit in the pouch, which is ridiculous to me. I think if they've added a little bit more length onto the pouch, I would be able to keep it like that without having to remove the 1/4-inch thread there, and then be able to utilize the space for something else, like a microphone, for instance, right? Yeah, so I was like a bit disappointed by that, because I would like to be able to keep it like that and actually fit it into the pouch, whereas I can't really do that. It doesn't fit, okay? Other quality of life thing that I have noticed is, I don't know about you guys who own the Pocket 3, but I found that there are certain occasions when I try to link this to the DJI Mimo app while I'm outdoors and I don't have Wi-Fi, and it doesn't connect to the app. When I've searched for solutions for that, it tells me that I need to turn off my mobile data in order for me to be able to connect to the Mimo app. So far, with testing, I haven't had to do that workaround with the Pocket 4. It just automatically connects as soon as I turn on the Mimo. It will detect the Pocket 4, it will ask to connect, and it will connect. No issues. This one had that issue. Still does. In fact, I went out with this over the weekend before this arrived just to get the feel of it again. And I was super annoyed by that because I use the DJI Mimo app on my phone as a remote control, right? But I can't do that if it doesn't connect. So yeah, that was annoying. But other than that, it was okay, right? My third-party battery pack is also able to connect with the Pocket 4, so that's pretty good. I don't have to buy my accessories again. I'll show you that actually reads it. Like, it can charge it. So that's pretty good. And gives me even more length to hold on to, right? So very good grip there, right? Yeah, my intention for getting the Pocket 4, and I've mentioned this in some of the clips, is that I actually want to use my Nano, which I'm filming on, as a secondary camera to give me that like wide angle feel, but I want to use my Pocket 4 for talking heads and like vlogging all around, and use the film tones because I am super lazy with editing. And if I can get straight out of the camera videos that actually already look like they're professionally done, I'm happy with that. Other quality of life stuff that I really like about this is the additional buttons at the bottom, especially the custom button. It already has that button for zooming, so I don't have to use the joystick to do the zooming. This is always going to be to control the gimbal. But the custom button, I've set it so that when I press it once, it recenters the camera. Because what I have found is, I guess depending on what sort of like FPV or tilting you choose, I found that my camera also doesn't always like, I don't know, it just sometimes is wonky. Wonky is not a technical term, but it is, right? Yeah, so when I press it once, it recenters the gimbal. When I press it twice, what did I choose for pressing twice? I forgot already. I double press and it switches between the custom modes. I used to do it as like click it twice and rotate the gimbal, but there is already a specific icon on the screen to do that, so I've changed it to switching between custom modes. And then triple press, I have it for lock or unlock the camera direction. So yeah, those are pretty good because really it annoys me having to recenter the camera on the gimbal. So good quality of life upgrade on that. I like that there is now a door to where your SD card is. I haven't actually tested whether this ejects the SD card as hard as the Pocket 3 does, because with the Pocket 3, Jesus, when you eject the SD card, it really ejects. Like, it goes the distance. And I have found it, sometimes I've lost SD cards or it fell into like cracks and whatever because it just flies away. Another thing in terms of like where the SD card is, look at how tight and in depth that is there. Like, it, I have to have long nails for me to be able to pop it out of there or get something to actually pry it out of the SD card slot. This is the Pocket 3, okay? Pocket 4. There is enough of the SD card left outside that you can actually just press it and it comes out. And it doesn't eject, see? It doesn't eject it to smithereens. Like, I can put it back easy and put it out and it doesn't spring on to the next dimension. Right. So yeah, that's another thing that I really like about it. What I do notice though is that, or what I had hoped to find is that I wouldn't need this extra little handle to mount it onto a tripod. I had hoped that they would actually have the 1/4 inch thread on the actual camera. But in saying that, I don't really mind because again, I like that extra length so that I can have a better grip of the camera. Yeah. Now I'm going to show you some of the testing clips that I've put together, testing out low light in, I guess, in the house without actually testing out low light. Like not the function of the camera, but just in regular video mode, just to see how well it takes on light and the ISO and whatever. Because again, there are so many YouTubers out there who's already done the low light comparison. I've also taken it out and tested how the audio sounds on the camera compared to the Pocket 3. So let's get on with that. Right, on this test, the Osmo Pocket 3 and Pocket 4 are both in full auto mode. They both have an ND32, what do you call this, filter on. And just like regular, everything auto, nothing, no filters, nothing. I also wanted to talk about the cases that it came with. So the Pocket 4 only came with this little guy here that protects the gimbal from moving. But the good thing about this is it also protects the contact points at the back. And once it's put in there, the actual camera doesn't turn, so it also protects the lens. What I do miss about having something like this is the ability to bring ND filters with you, because there are 2 slots here for you to be able to put in the ND filter. But other than that, yeah, because this is pretty bulky. I also don't have any microphone connected to either of the cameras, so this is the internal microphone that you're hearing. So I've now taken the ND filters off, and this is what I was talking about, where you can actually put in the filters into the case, and it protects a little bit more of the Osmo Pocket 3. But luckily, this also fits the Pocket 4. So if you want to keep that, you can. Although it might not sell well if you take away the accessories that are supposed to come with it, if you're selling it in the secondhand market. But yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to test is how well it takes audio. So I've got the DJI mic 2. I've got two of the transmitters. One is connected to the Pocket 3 and the other one is connected to the Pocket 4. And they are at the same distance from me. The microphones are the same distance from my mouth. And yeah, I'm just trying to see how it goes. Now from the screen, and I don't know if it's because maybe the LCD of the Pocket 4 is better than the Pocket 3, but I can see that my face is brighter in the Pocket 4 than in the Pocket 3. The colors are a little bit different, even though they are in the exact same all auto settings. So this is what it looks like. Like if you turn it off on right out of the box and turn on the microphone, this is what you'll get on the Pocket 3 and on the Pocket 4. Editing Meg here. Another quality of life improvement is the inclusion of 107 gigabytes of internal memory. Because I cannot tell you how many times I have taken my Pocket 3 and forgot to bring an SD card. Like, jeez. Editing Meg here again because I realized I rambled on and didn't actually tell you what my verdict was. If it's worth upgrading to the Pocket 4 if you don't have, if you have the Pocket 3 already. And generally my thoughts are that no, you don't need to, upgrade to the Pocket 4 if you've got the Pocket 3, unless you want those quality of life improvements that I've mentioned. I think that the upgrades are minimal. They're not, mind blowing. If you are already used to color grading anyway, or prefer to use the standard mode and don't need the film tones, then by all means stick with the Pocket 3. They say that the 2x zoom is lossless, but I think that's not 100% true, or that's not true because it's either true or false, right? Because I do see some loss of image quality when you do zoom in. It's not very visible. It's not something that you would notice right away, but it is there if you like to pixel peep. Okay, so yeah. My opinion is, unless those quality of life improvements are something that you are after, then you don't need to upgrade to the Pocket 4. And as you can see from the side-by-side comparison of the images, the change is minimal, right? So do you really want to spend that money? If you do not have a pocket camera though, then, and this is going to be your first DJI Osmo Pocket, then yeah, I think it's worth it. It is part of my trifecta. I use my pocket camera, my Nano, and my DJI Neo 2 for filming, right? So yeah, if you don't have it and you want to get it, yeah, go ahead. If you have other cameras that work as well as this does, then you probably don't. There are people who are able to create masterpieces with just their phone and a regular mobile phone gimbal. You don't actually need to have this. But if you want the portability, if you want the, yeah, I guess the lossless zoom, if you want the film tones, if you want better low light, if you want improved slow motion capability at 240 frames per second, then yes, go ahead, buy it, upgrade from your Pocket 3. But in practical terms, I would say you don't need the Pocket 4 if you already have the Pocket 3. Right. Let's go back to regular programming. All right, so I hope this video comparison was helpful for those of you who are like me, who are not tech people, who are not really good with these things, who do not really care about the spec sheets, but more about the real world use of these cameras. Yeah, and let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comment section down below.